Hello everyone. Welcome to ISRK today live interaction session. So here I'll show you the slides. Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to ISRK session. Today we are going to talk about GSK, which is a global Korean scholarship, previously known as KGSP. So let me tell you about ISRK. It's a volunteer support group for all the student researchers here in Korea, which is organized for educational researcher purpose. So today with us, we have Abhishek Kumar, PhD student. PhD student and research assistant, and Bulusu Amruta Lakshmi, master's student, Deepak Chauhan, PhD student, and Deepak Kumar, R&D engineer, Comet Plasma. So these are the interaction, these are the JKS winners of 2018 and 2015. So I want to first talk to Abhishek Kumar about his experience in the JKS as a JKS winner and how did he got the scholarship.
Oh, hello everyone. This is Abhishek, and I'm currently pursuing my PhD in international relations at Cookmin University. I'm also working as a research assistant under one professor who's the dean of the political science department. And coming to GKS scholarship, it's not something very tough that people think about, but I would say that it's your marks and the statement of purpose. That's what matters. So before moving ahead to the approaches towards the GKS, let's first know about a bit about GKS. So I'll share my screen and let you know about that. Hmm. So this is the GKS course. There are two courses which GKS provides. One is undergrad, which is of 4 years, and the other one is graduate course, which includes the master's and PhD courses. And the scholarship benefit that people that this one of the very attractive things about KGSP is the scholarship benefits. Apart from waiving of your tuition fees, you don't have to pay anything for your tuition. They pay you 900,000 won a month for undergrad and 1 million won for the graduate and the PhD students. Apart from that, they pay you research assistant, but this is only for the PhD and the master student, and they pay you around 210,000 to 240,000 Korean won per semester, so that it can help you in your buying books and buying anything that you want, which could be helpful for your research. Apart from that, there's a medical insurance which they pay around 20,000 won, and obviously the everything is being paid by the government over here, and the language training fees is also paid. In case you are a PhD or master student, when you have to print out your dissertation in PhD, you have to, you the money of that dissertation printing will also be paid by the government. And after completing your degree, you'll get the uh, completion grant as well. And when you come to Korea, you get the settlement allowance around 200,000, I guess. When you come to Korea, you get the settlement allowance so that you can settle properly over here. Coming to eligibility, so the eligibility is quite one of the things that people actually talk about. First, in this KGSP scholarship, your your degree, your marks matters a lot, and it should be more than 80% according to the guidelines of the Korean government. And GPA should be high enough so that you can be in the top list of the students. And obviously for the master's program, you need a bachelor's degree. You should be in the, at least in the last semester of your degree, or you have completed your bachelor's. And also for undergrad, you should have completed your high school, or you are on the verge of completing your high school when you're applying for it. And your parents should be of your respective country, like from India, and they should not be Korean. The date should be 25 for the undergrad, and for the grad, which includes master's and PhD, your age should be below 40. And also apart from that, you should be adequately both mentally and physically fit, so that you can to show that you are fit enough to survive in a country like Korea, because Korea is not that a country where you can live very easily. The food habit and the language problem is there, so that you have to go through a medical test, and which will show that you are mentally and physically fine to, in case you're selected, and so that you have to stay here for 3 to 4 years. And the master's degree program, which is of 3 years, it includes 1 year of language program and 2 years of your master's degree. For doctoral, it's 1 year of language program, 3 years of doctoral degree, and research program is also 6 months of 1 year. But coming to the language program, there's 1 year given to you to complete your language program, and you have to achieve a minimum of topic level 3. Topic is a test of proficiency in Korean language, and you have to attain a certain level, which is level 3, in order to advance from your language to your particular degree program. And in case you achieve level 3, you can go ahead to your master's or PhD program. But in case, for example, you fail to get level 3, then you will be given 6 months of extension to complete your level 3, so that you can advance again to your respective degree program. But in the extension of 6 months, 50% of the fees will be paid by you, and 50% will be paid by the government. So this is the criteria if you fail to get level 3 in 1 year. Yeah. And the university locations are all across Korea, from Incheon to Seoul to Gwangju to Busan to Jeju Island. Almost every area is almost all the universities are included in this KGSP scholarship program. And there are two kinds of distinguished between university. One is type A and the second one is type B. So nowadays you have to choose at least 2 universities from type A. Sorry, at least one university from type B, at least one. And you can choose also 2 universities from type B, but you have to choose at least one from type B, and rest you can choose from type A as well. So 1 university from type B is a must from now. When I was there, it was not a must. So the announcement procedure is like, for the undergrad, it's announced in September. And for graduate, like it just happened, it was announced in February, and the last due date is about to finish. And results are declared for the undergrad in January. For the graduate, all the complete result is out in June, after all the 3 rounds are finished. And arrival is in Korea for undergrad, it's late February, and for graduate, it's in the late August. So coming to the required documents, it's not that, it's very simple. You have to just fill up the form. You have to write a personal statement. You have to write a statement of purpose, in which you have to tell what you're going to study and why are you fascinated to study in Korea, and what led you to study in Korea, not any other country, and what would be your research field which would help both India and Korea. And then a letter of recommendation from any of the institution that you have worked in, or from your college. Make sure the letter of recommendations are from those people who know you personally, otherwise, so that they can write good things about you. And avoid taking personal statement, letter of recommendations from any of the, I would say, the member of parliament or member of legislative assembly, MLAs. In case you have worked under them, then it's good. But if in case just you're trying to boast of that you have a good reach, that you know MP and MLA, it won't be of use, I guess. And then the applicant agreement you have to sign, and then you have to go through a personal medical assessment that you have to attach. And in the certificates, you have to, obviously, for the master's and PhD, you have to attach the bachelor's and the degree program, that whatever you have achieved. and the transcript as well. These are must. These, and for the students who are in the fourth semester probably, or in the last semester of their program, and they might not have all the semester mark transcript. So try to submit the 3 semesters mark sheet and write an application that we are in the last semester of our study. So in case I'm selected, I'll present the required documents. So it would work. It worked for me because when I applied, I was in the fourth semester of my master's, so I didn't have the fourth semester mark sheet. And then you have to, apart from transcript, you have to attach your documents and like your proof of citizenship, like passport, Aadhaar card, election card, and your parents' proof as well. The document should be written in English or Korean, and the letter of recommendation, you make sure it's sealed in an envelope. It should be confidential, and you cannot see it. So apart from that, you have to make so you have to submit all these documents. You have to make 4 copies of all the documents, like your personal statement, your statement of purpose, your transcripts, degree, everything. Make sure you have whatever documents are required, make 4 copies out of it, and seal everything in 4 different envelopes, and then submit it by hand or by post to the required given address by 21st of March. And make sure you also fill the online form, which is on proposal.sakshat.ac.in. And make sure when you fill this form, print the form as well and attach in the 4 copies as well. And for those who are going through university track, I think you have to go to the university website to check the timelines. And that would be, I think Deepak Chauhan, he will mention more about this university track because I am from embassy track. And the selection procedure is that first embassy track, you'll be selected by the Korean embassy. Then the documents of the results of that will be released by, you can see, it will be released by 2nd of April. Then the second round of selection, that your documents after getting selected will go to the NEED in Korea. So after that, they will go through your degree, go through your documents, and then they will put out a list of selected students. After that, you will be required to submit your medical results, which would include your chest X-ray, your certain amount of tests which are given in the guideline, like eye test and everything, which you can go to any of the hospital and you can get everything done. And then after that, there will be 3rd round of selection. And after that, you will be, when you are selected in all those 3 rounds, the university will contact you. The 3 universities that you have chosen, they will contact you if they have selected you. So in 3 universities, all 3 can choose you. Only 1 can choose you. Only 2 can choose you. It depends upon the university and what kind of students they are looking for. And then if in case you are selected from 2 universities or 3 universities, you have the choice to go to only 1 university, and you cannot change your university after you have selected one. And after all these procedures, the final list would be out by, I think, 2nd of June. And in the mid of June, the final results would be out, and you can see your name. And if selected, then the NEED will give you a GKS letter, and then you will go to the visa process. Visa fees is also waived off from the government, and then you will get your required visa. And then the flights ticket would also be given by the language institutes. And also remember, language institute is not selected by you. It's been randomly distributed. It's just randomly given to people. You can only choose your degree, and you can only choose your university that you want to pursue your degree in. And then after everything is done, your visa, and after receiving your tickets, you will be in Korea in 24th of August or 25th of August, depends upon your university. And after that, when you come to Korea, your required language institute will come and pick you up and take you to the language institute. And then after a few days, the orientation will happen. And after a few days again, the semester will start. So that's it. I would now request Amruta to put more light on this GK scholarship.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amruta. I'm a recipient of Global Korean Scholarship 2019, and I'm currently doing my master's in Songkyunkwan University in Electrical and Computer Engineering. So I will let you know more about the Global Korean Scholarship. I'll be sharing my screen. So here, Study in Korea website is the main website for Global Korean Scholarship. So you would get all the notice and information about Global Korean Scholarship in this one. So if you go to this site, here you can see all the details about Korea, like why do you want, what is the reason that you can study in Korea, and how's the education in Korea, and how you can prepare for all the admissions and life in Korea and other experiences. So if you want to go particularly for the Global Korean Scholarship Program, you can just find under the scholarship drop down, you can find GKS notice. And if you go there, so here you can find the list of all the notices regarding the Global Korean Scholarship. And the recent one is the application for 2021 GKS scholarship for graduate degrees. So usually for graduate degrees, it starts in the month of February, and the procedure ends goes till August, and you can come to Korea by August. For undergrad, it's from September, and you can start your semester by February. So this is the recent notice, and you can go to the notice. So here you find all the details about the Global Korean Scholarship. So you can download the application guidelines mentioned in English. So this document consists of all the information regarding GKS, and you can find also the frequently asked questions regarding the scholarship. Also, if you want to find like the university track, so this scholarship consists of two tracks, which is embassy and university track. For the embassy track, Abhishek has already mentioned the timeline. So you have to submit your application to the to Korean embassy in Delhi by 21st March, I guess. And I will be showing you the for individual university, the timelines depend on the university itself. So if you want to find, so for example, for Songkyunkwan University, since I'm studying here, you can go through the university website, and you can find under admissions, you can find the graduate applications, and you can see the information regarding GKSC program and the timelines for it. So that would be it. I would suggest everyone to go to this site and download all the application guidelines and the forms if you'd like to apply for a Global Korean Scholarship. I would be passing it on now to Deepak Chauhan. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Amrita. And hello, everyone. My name is Deepak Chauhan. I belong to northern part of India, which is Uttar Pradesh. I came to Korea in 2019 as a GK scholar. So as mentioned earlier, I have done my language school from Seoul, and now I have started my course, which is PhD in environmental engineering under civil engineering department at Yungnam University. Yungnam University is in Daegu province, and it is one of the biggest university in terms of area and the offer courses. And the biggest advantage of studying in my university is that in my university is a foreign friendly university. Nearly 40% students are foreigners. And in my university, there are so many Indians. Like you can see in my lab, there are 7 research professors, all are from India, and I am also from India. So in one group, we are having 8 Indians. Yeah, and so as mentioned by Abhishek, like you can apply through 2 tracks, university and embassy. And I have applied through university track. Under university track, you have to directly apply to the concerned university of your interest. Each of the track is having their own like pros and cons. Under embassy, you can apply 3 university at a time. But under embassy, you can apply 3 university at a time. But in university, you can only apply to one concerned university. All the required document, like the Abhishek already described, in embassy, you have to send to the Indian Embassy office in New Delhi. But under university track, you have to directly send your all the relevant document to the concerned university in South Korea. So please keep in mind this thing. And the other most important thing under university track is that first you have to make a contact with the concerned professor, because under embassy you have 3 options. Like if any of the university will not take you, still you have 2 more options. But in university you have only 1 option. So always be on a safer side if you are going to apply for university. For making a contact, just go through the website and try to find out the professor of your relevant interest. Make a smooth CV as well as a basic research proposal type of thing. Try to compile your research experience with the ongoing project in the lab so that the professor will give you a positive response. And after that, just simply mention that you are going to apply through GK scholarship. Please mention this word GK scholarship. It will make a positive impact for making a relation with professor, because everyone wants a free student, like, because everything is paid by the Korean government. So the professor will easily give you a good response. And one more thing, if you are having any English language score like IELTS or TOEFL, then it will be an added advantage to your application. So in this way, you can easily proceed. And now I am handing over to Deepak Kumar so that he can share his experience.
So, hello everyone, I'm Deepak, and currently I'm working as a research and development engineer for a Switzerland-based company in South Korea. I came to Korea in 2015 on undergraduate scholarship. And since everyone has already mentioned about the process of GKS scholarship, so it's same for the undergraduate and graduate scholarship. You need to have 80% marks in your high school to apply for the undergraduate scholarship. So and also every process are almost the same for the undergraduate and masters. So there is no such difference. And if you have any other questions related to visa or job process, and I would love to answer that.
Deepak, would you like to share your experience about how did you apply and about your job experience in Korea?
So when I started looking for job when I was in my final semester here. My final semester started in September 2019, and I started looking for job. So because I studied at Korea University and my major is electrical engineering. So I think I had more than 10 job offers before my degree. So if you are a KGSP and especially engineers, then you don't need to worry about job or also visa, because you will have multiple job offers before your degree, because we are Indians, and most of the Korean companies now, they are looking at Indian markets. So they are looking to hire Indians. Even nowadays also, I get multiple calls from many companies. They want to hire me because, Korean, like Indian engineers who can speak Korean, there are very few of them. So only KGSP students have that advantage. Either they are they are good at Korean language and also they have a degree. So Korean language is always going to benefit you if you are studying in Korea, if you want to work in Korea. So overall, like if you are Indian and you can speak Korean language, you don't need to worry about job. And also if you're KGSP, in 2019, starting from 2019, Korean government has changed visa policy for Indian students. So now they have started giving F27 visa. F27 visa is a long-term residency visa. So if you are KGSP, the government will recommend you to the immigration office and you can easily get F27 visa, which is long-term residency visa. So you don't need to worry about visa also if you are KGSP and from India.
Thank you, Deepak.
Yeah.
I have one important thing to share. Can I share?
Go ahead.
Okay. Like when I applied in 2019 from the Indian embassy under the engineering field, they have nominated only 3 branches under the university for university track, like biotech, electrical and electronics, and CS. So from India in 2019, the only option for the other engineers, like I am from a civil engineering background, the university was the only option. They were not allowing us to apply through the embassy track. But now I heard that I think they have changed something. So please go through the MHRD website to check whether now they have included the other engineering branch under the embassy track or not. So please keep in mind.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Myself Anand.
Okay.
Yeah, can you share about that PhD during compared to India and in Korea is different. So how to do that work in here and can you share your feelings that PhD is entirely different process from India and here. So can you share your feelings and how to sustain that in the during starting?
Okay. May I know from which background you are from?
Mine is electronics background. I'm from India.
Okay. So you are
during
from engineering
MSc,
background. So
not engineering, both physics plus engineering, electronics background.
Okay.
MSc Tech Engineering Physics from NIT Warangal.
Okay.
In India. So both undergraduation, like I was completed completely in maths, physics, chemistry. After that, electronics background.
Okay, that's great. Like in Korea, the difference is that in India, like I was started my PhD in India under IIT Dhanbad. So I have a little bit of like experience in PhD in India as well as in Korea. So I would like to share with you is that in India, sometimes you have to depend on others' lab for getting the instrument, I guess. Even it was IIT, but I don't want to say, but it was like little bit difficult in getting the whole equipments, but in Korea, you will get each and everything within your lab. So in this way, the Korean government is spending a lot on research and innovation. So you will get each and everything. And the other thing is that in India, it takes like long duration to complete your PhD. But in Korea, if you are good enough, then they will provide you within 3 years. So that is the other advantage of pursuing PhD in Korea. But on a little bit negative side in Korea, you have to be like more disciplined, and because in every week they used to take a presentation of your work, what you have done within the 1 week. You have to give a report. So in this way, on one side it is good as you will proceed fast towards your work. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
thank you, Deepak. So guys, we are open for question and answer. Anybody has questions to the speaker, they can ask now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Hello,
ma'am.
sir. Hello, sir. Hello. Yeah, so I'm right now pursuing my post graduation in architecture, and I have applied to the university track in Korea University, and I contacted the professor in advance, like before 6 months, and he
Okay.
provided me a good recommendation letter, and with the interaction with him, we came to a conclusion about the topic and the research thing. So like I have applied to the university track, and I wanted to know, like I have a lot of publications, like I have my own book also, which is there available on Amazon and Flipkart. So but at the same time my marks are like, it's if I see it on the 4 scale, it is more like a 2.85 and a 3. So what are chances of getting selected, as well as if I get selected in the university track, what kind of interview they are going to conduct, like what kind of questions they are going to ask?
Actually, in embassy track, it's great. Like your professor gave you a good response, because in university track, everything is under the professor, not
Okay.
like embassy. So I think if your professor is that much impressed by you, you will definitely come to Korea, and
Okay,
they
so
will just ask the simple things like in the interview, because already you made a good impression on him. So that's great.
okay, so thank you, so.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. My query was that I'm an engineering background student. I'm currently doing from my BTech in electronics and communication from NIT Silchar. So, but I wanted to pursue MBA. So for that, I'm actually confused what the college's standards are over there, which colleges are good and which are not. Basically, I'm not able to find a good source of how to choose colleges, which one to apply for via the university or the embassy track. So can you give us any rough idea or any website where, we could find the good ones or get some information on that?
Actually, you want to do MBA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so regarding MBA, actually, I don't have much knowledge because I'm from an engineering background, so I have such more about that. But like I have heard that Korean university, like Korea University, SNU, these are quite good and having a good ranking in QS or Times or any other ranking. So you can just simply go through the website and you can apply.
I'll put on a point over there. For MBA, my few friends are studying MBA, and
Okay,
universities like Yonsei provides a global MBA program, and there's
okay.
Dongguk University which provides global MBA program, and the language requirements are not that high. They look for students who are bright, and one of my friends from France is studying global MBA, and it's pretty good. Yonsei University is one of the top in Korea, and also with the Dongguk, and also with probably I think you'll have to go to the university's website and look through the program whether it suits you or not, and then do check the ranking of the university before making a decision. And yeah, as Deepak said, and apart from that, the Yonsei
Yes,
and
so
Dongguk.
the top 3 universities, Seoul National University, Yonsei, I've heard about them, but then I'm not sure what's my status of, if my scores will be good enough for them or not, because I'm 94% in 10th, 91 in 12th, and 8.2 CGPA in my BTech. So I'm very confused because we'll only be applying in 2 to 3 universities, right? So it's a big risk. It's kind of like a gamble. So
they will not ask your 10th and 12th. If they would have asking your 10th and 12th, I would have not have been here. Coming to that, they will not ask you 10th and 12th. Bachelor's would be fine, and if you're working somewhere, if you have a strong CV, statement of purpose, there are few universities which Sky is always there, and apart from that, Dongguk University is quite good in global MBA, and Kyungi Universities I think is also good. So
can you repeat the last name?
Kyungi.
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, Kyungh.
Okay.
E. That's it.
E. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I have one more question actually. They generally ask for TOEFL scores or English scores, or if you're from non-English speaking country. And there was another contradictory statement I read in their guidelines that if you're graduating from an English speaking, in English medium. So basically in India, English is not our, India is not an English speaking. Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you, there's this confusion about that, but because I have seen few friends of mine going through this. Like one of my friends from Egypt had the same issue because he's a very intelligent student, and he also had IELTS before coming to Korea. So he was very sure because his university is Dongguk. So I think he got to know from his professor that even if he fails to get a topic level, he would be in Dongguk because if he has the IELTS score. So it primarily it depends upon the university to university. Like few universities, like one of my friends also from in Dongguk, other branch, and he was told that you don't have to get topic, you just study your language program, come. So and he did the same. So it depends quite primarily. It might be contradictory, I understand, and I have seen my friends going through the same. So you have to get, completely assured from the university side that whether they really require it or not.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for clearing things out.
Hi, Abhishek. Hello. Hi, Abhishek.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, actually, I had two queries. Like one is regarding GPA thing, because my university didn't provide GPA. Although I have a letter from university that that we don't provide GPA, so you can take whatever you wish. So I did my GPA calculation from Scholaro. Although I have 75% and less in my BTech, I have 72% to be exact, but it is first class with distinction, and my Scholaro GPA is 3.75. So I'm not sure if I'll be eligible or not to apply.
See, this coming to question of 80%, I know 80% is important as mentioned by Korea's guideline, but coming to social science background, I'm from a social science background. 80%, getting 80% is almost next to impossible in social science, especially when you are from universities like University of Delhi. I was from University of Delhi. So if you get more than 60%, you are a good student. So I had 68% and 68% in a bachelor's and master's. So in that sense, your 80% will not matter because the embassy knows from where you are studying. If the embassy knows that you are from University of Delhi, they know the marking is very strict over there, and you will not fetch 70%. So it depends upon, and the embassy knows from which university they are coming. So I don't think there is nothing wrong in applying. Just apply, see how it pans out. Apart from marks, your statement of purpose and your working experience will also matter. So it might give you an advantage.
Okay, actually, I'm from engineering background, not from social science.
I know.
And I do have WorkX 3 years in an MNC. So
good enough. Everything matters, not grades, not only matters. There's few things included apart from grades also matters.
I would also like to add something. I applied for undergraduate scholarship, but it also requires to have 80% marks in high school. But I had only 67%. But they give you an option. Either you can show that you have 20%, like a top 80% marks, or you are in top 20 percentile. So by any chance, if you can show that if you are in top 20 percentile of your class, you can apply. See, engineering, like getting in 80% marks in engineering school, I think some of your classmates might have got it.
No, I mean, even highest was, I guess, in my whole batch of, I guess someone has got it, not like 20%. I'm from Pune University.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But if you can show them that you are in top 20% of your class, ask your department head, go to your department office, tell them that you are applying for the scholarship. They will write a letter that you are in top 20% of your class, submit that document, and you can apply.
Okay, because I actually tried asking them for this. So they are not giving me even that. They just gave me a letter that we don't provide GPA, that's it, from the university. So, I mean, is there any other option from this?
Not GPA. He's saying that just get a certificate.
Yeah, the 20%. I understood.
Yeah.
They are not giving me that. I mean, they're like, we can't provide it. I mean, they have so much tantrums.
That we all understand, but I don't think we can help in that, I guess.
Yeah, if you can't show them, then you just apply and then wish
Let's pray to the God.
Yeah, I mean, they did send me the seal recommendation and everything, but only this 20% thing I'm not getting, plus that GPA thing. So is it also like you are from
If
university
you're
track?
not, just try to mention that you were in 20% in your SOP. Just try to
Okay,
mention that you were
sure.
in. Just
Sure.
write one line for that. In case you are selected in the first round, you will ask this question further, and then you can explain it further.
Okay, thank you so much. And I had one more question regarding university track. So that is like, I tried contacting professor from SKKU, Sanguk Kwan. So they are not replying me since 3 months. Only one professor replied, and he was like, I don't have any space in lab. The rest are not even replying. So is it necessary for a reply from a professor before applying to university track?
No, actually it is not necessary, but it will enhance your chances of selection. Like you are going to apply for SNU, but no one professor is having any like seat under him for the upcoming batch. So your application will be waste, right? So in this way,
Yeah,
if you
true.
are, and be like, you have to be cool and calm for sending the email. Do you know, I have sent more than 500 mails for different professors.
I send them
then
every
I got
week. I send them every week.
So you have to be like patience. You have to show your patience ability because this is the one worst thing in Korea. Like professor, they usually don't reply. They don't have any interest. Like I have applied to Australia and somewhere else, but for a name of courtesy, they even give you a response like your application is good, but we don't have any seat, like these type of thing. But Korean professor, they will only reply if they have interest in you. So that's the thing.
I would also.
I actually tried many times. Hi, Amrita. I guess I contacted you.
Yeah, I would actually like to answer, like add on to this point. So if you get selected for a scholarship, you have like an year or like 6 months for your Korean, like your course. So you can mail the professors within that period, because I've done the same thing. Usually you don't get replies from the professors like for the labs and stuff immediately. So you need to like remind them, send them like 3 or 4 emails if you're really interested to work under them.
Okay, yeah, I'll try again.
Yeah, it's true, but it is applicable for embassy track, not for university. Because in university, before you are coming to Korea, your professor, your lab, everything is like finalized. So under embassy, you can choose for that option, a very good option given by Amrita. But for university, your everything is fixed prior you are coming to Korea.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We have to take questions from other audience too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Yeah, hi. I'm from Tamil Nadu, Chennai.
Hello.
Babu. Hello. You're
yes,
here?
we can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm from Chennai. I would like to have a few queries on. My son has studied computer science engineering in Amrita, Coimbatore.
Okay.
So what do you want to ask? What is your query? Can you please elaborate for us?
Yeah. So what are the computer science opportunity? Currently is selected and working in a computers field, MNC company. What are the computer opportunities in Korea? Computer science engineering opportunities.
So sorry,
So
you are
anybody
asking
who would
in
like
which
to
context, like in study purpose or for job purpose?
No, in study purpose of higher studies, secondary. PG study purpose.
Okay, then like I would like to say in Korea, there are so many options for doing your like MS in computer science.
Okay.
So you can, and highly like world-class universities are there. So you can just go through the website and try to find a professor of your son's like relevant interest, and you can apply.
Fine, sir. Fine.
Okay.
Currently, he's working. Is interested to work 1 year. Then next year, he'll apply for the Korean university. Before that, I need to check all the pre-check criteria.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we are open to more questions. Anybody in the audience want to ask something?
Hello, yeah, good afternoon.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
yeah, I
we can
wanted
hear
to
you.
ask if there is an internship support. Like right now, I'm doing my master's in microbiology, and I'm in my 4th semester. Is there any internship opportunities which I can do before starting my PhD, or like after finishing my master's and before starting my PhD in Korea?
Deepak, answer.
In context of like internship opportunity, okay, so you are asking with Deepak Kumar, sorry.
So for the internship, you have to apply directly to the company, but most of the company in Korea, they are most likely not to hire you as an intern. If you're lucky enough, you can get it because there's a visa problem also. And
no, like can I work? I want to continue as a researcher. So is
Yes,
there
yes.
any option to in
Yes,
universities to intern as research?
Yes, many students come from India in labs for research interns. So you can apply, like you can write mail to the professors that you are interested in their lab. And if they are interested, if the professors are interested in your profile, they will invite you as an intern. There are many students who come from IITs, from NITs or other institutes as an intern.
Deepak, I would like to add some point here. Like I also came to Korea as intern first. So I think it is possible for you what you need to do is just look for your interest lab and your research. What are you interested in and contact to the professor. And all the labs, they open they open some seats for internship. So if you will try to contact them, they will let you know if they have seats or not. And so many students come as intern here in Korea. I was also one of them. And there are many universities, they open their internship program as well. As I'm from GIST is also opening like GIP, Global Internship Program. This is specifically from GIST, Guangzhou Institute of Science and Technology. So I think like this, there are other university who opens internship programs. So please try that. Thank you.
Okay, so are these internship funded as well, or do they have scholarship for them?
Yeah. All universities provide scholarships for like the GIP I mentioned before. They actually give fully funded scholarship.
Okay, so considering this, can you suggest me, like I am from environment, bioremediation and microbiology background. So can you suggest me any university or professor, if any one of you know?
Yeah, can I answer for this question?
Yes.
Yes, okay. My name is Vasudev Reddy. I am working as a international research professor in Yangnam University. Ms. Saha, that's up to your interest. First, look at the research field where you are interested. Okay, then
yes, I am interested in bioremediation.
Yeah, see in the you can go to the specific university. There you can find a specific department. In the department, you have the list of professors. You can see their field and read their papers. If your interest and match with the professor's background, you can send email to him. The before request to them, you can make your CV beautifully, as well as if you have some papers, it is good to get an internship. Recently to my lab also one person came as a visiting student. Here for financial support, you can get support from the government as well as from the professors. Each professor has some funding in his laboratory. If he wish to hire you as a visiting student, definitely he can support from the lab. That's up to the understanding between you and the professors. Particularly when you are going to apply Korea, most of the things decided by the professors. Okay, the best way, please contact the professor. In Yangnam University also, by the field which you are looking, there are many faculties. You can just go to the Yangnam University website, then you can find your interest person, you can send email. If he is also interested, then only he will reply. If he is not interested, most of them, they won't reply.
Okay, can you repeat the name of the university, sir, please?
Yangnam University. Yangnam University.
Yangnam, okay.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, hi. My name is Santosh Mutum. So I want to ask a few questions. So first of all, I am from NITM. So in my master degree, I am currently in the fourth semester. Up to third semester, my
Your
mark across 8.1114. Hello.
yes, you're very fast. I believe.
Can
Can you
I
speak slowly?
Okay. My name is Santosh Mutum from. I'm from NIT Manipur, and I'm currently in the final semester of master. So in the master degree up to the third semester, I was the IT person, but in the bachelor degree, I didn't reach IT person. I get around 78%. So is it thus it will hurt my application process. Actually, I'm applying for PhD.
We couldn't get your question properly.
Okay, I
Means,
got your question.
okay.
Tiki is asking about PhD positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my master degree, I crossed the IT percent, but in my bachelor degree, I didn't cross IT%. So
Okay, I got your question. It won't make any impact about your like bachelor's degree. They will only consider your last degree. If you are going to apply for PhD, they will consider only the master's. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
and
please.
one more thing, I'm currently in the internship at Intel. So actually, Intel doesn't give any documents about the employment certificate or anything. So actually, in my personal statement, I introduced that I work for Intel, but there is no certificate
So
for it.
no need,
Is it okay?
yeah, no need to be worried. Just apply, because if your like background is strong, your master's every document is good, then they will take. No need to take any stress. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Amrita, I think you wanted to say something for his question.
Yeah, I was about to say that the percentage of the highest recent degree is the one that matters, and not the previous one. So if you're applying for PhD, your bachelor's score doesn't affect your application. That's what I would like to say.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, good evening. Can you please go forward with your question?
Yes, I wanted to ask, like, if we apply through the embassy track, I know that we have 3 universities that we can apply to. That is from group B, it's one compulsory, and group A, we can select anyhow. But I was asking, like, if we apply through the university track, so is it necessary that we can only apply in one university, or we can apply in as many universities as we want?
No. For university track, only one university at a time.
Okay.
This is the main drawback for university track, you can say.
And secondly, I wanted to ask, like, when we send the documents, sir said that we have to make 4 copies and 4 envelopes, we have to keep it. So in those copies, in the instructions, it was written that we have to give our original documents. So how can we make them the copies original? By notarizing them?
No, never. Like for university, you have to send only one set of your photocopies, not original. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Akanksha this side. I am actually having one question regarding the job opportunities. I am currently working in an MNC and I will be applying for computer science and engineering. So I came to know this from a lot of people, people who will applying for top level universities usually get the good job opportunities. So is it like that?
Actually, what happens is when you study in a like top college in Korea, I think it's everywhere in the world actually. So people know about those universities, so they assume that you are smart. So like, see, so I have seen people from other universities also, and people from like top universities. So there is, of course, a salary difference. There is. So if you are in top universities, you are most likely to get good salary. In some situation, you will also not get it, but yes, you can expect that you have advantage over other students.
Like, so MNCs there are open to accept the students who are not from Sky universities or top 10 or 15.
As I said, you are Indian and you can speak Korean, so don't worry about job. There are many jobs waiting for you.
Okay.
Even though if you are not from good universities, yes. Don't worry about job for now. Any other questions?
Yes, Deepak.
Can we have any other question?
Yes. How many seats for undergraduates in each university?
For undergraduate scholarship?
Yes.
So when I applied in 2015, there was only one. And then now I think it's 3. I think it's 3 now. You can check the guidelines.
Sure.
Please come forward and ask more questions if you want. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon.
Any other question? Yep.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hello. Recently, I have completed a post-graduation from English. Hello.
Yes,
go ahead. We can.
Yeah. So should I get any opportunity to do my PhD in English in Korea?
Yes.
Hello.
You will get. Yes, you will get. Look forward to the universities.
Just can you... Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Means I have seen some.
Yes, you're audible. Kindly go forward.
Yeah. Mostly they are providing the seats related to the science field.
That's what happens. That's what Korea is all about, science. So they will give some extra benefits to science students. And coming to English, and I'm from international relations. So there are few seats for, obviously science students occupies more seats, and no wonder they are also crying in the lab after that. But coming to your question of PhD in English literature, obviously, I mean, if you are if any universities provides you a good English literature program, just apply.
Yes, you can apply. I know someone who is doing PhD in English.
Yes. Yeah.
Through KGSP. So of course you can apply.
Yeah, one from India, from Chennai, one of the girl is also studying, Purnima. She's studying her English here and she was, I think, an engineer before in bachelor's, and she switched to English literature. So you can do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else who want to ask questions?
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, go.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes.
My question is, can you please describe the document sending procedure again? Because actually I'm confused about it. Like how you submitted your documents. Please elaborate this.
In which place you're having problem? Can you just be specific?
Like those photocopies and notarized and attested.
Which stage?
Huh?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
Like those hello, are you?
Yeah, you are audible. Please
yes,
go ahead.
You're audible. Please be specific and ask your question.
those they said originals, and also some people said photocopies, notarized and attesting copies. These are something I confused about it.
You don't have to send any original documents. You will only submit original documents when you are selected completely into the university. And also on that, you can avoid giving the original. Right now, you have to give photocopies, make photocopies of all the required documents, get notarized the required documents which have to be notarized, like your degree program, any of the certificates that you have done, your mark sheets, make it notarized. Some university accepts notarized, some university accepts only apostille. So you have to go ask the particular university, but it can be only done after when you are past the first round about the notarization. Right now, just make 4 Xerox, notarize it, and submit it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, this is Vittal Nayak from Hyderabad. So basically, I am BTech is a AAA electrical electronics and masters in the masters. I'm pursuing masters from Delhi University in electronics. So thing is that, so what is the opportunity to work in the Korea after masters? Is there any choices? Because in India, na, very less. I hope like.
So for the job, if you can speak Korean, there are many jobs available here.
Okay.
But
basically Korea, in electrical electronics sections, right?
So yes, yes, electronics and computer science, and also mechanical. So like suppose if you want to come to Korea and work for Samsung, then Samsung has very, like I'd say it's a kind of tough exam here if you want to work for Samsung. Yes. So, and they also don't hire many foreigners from Korea. But if there are many small companies, they can hire you. But the problem with small companies is they want you to speak Korean. For the big companies, even though you don't speak Korean, it's fine. But for the small companies, they want you to speak Korean because most of the people there, they don't speak Korean. So that is the problem one. So if you can speak Korean, there are many job opportunities. Even though if you can't speak, there are, but you will find, like you will have difficulty in getting a job.
Means one more thing is that because I also heard it means almost Korea means Korean language is a mandatory for that working in the Korea. So is it means compared to other countries? So how we feel means how should we decide it? Can we means work in the Korea or not?
So you have to decide if you want to work in Korea or not, right? Like suppose even though in India, like most of the North Indians, when they want to work in other states like Tamil Nadu or or Kerala, maybe they have a language problem there also. But because they can speak English, it's manageable. Same here in Korea nowadays, people can speak or understand English. So if you know English, you can manage. But in companies, when people start meeting in Korean, in that time you have hard time. Even though I can speak Korean fluently, but still I have like hard times understanding those meetings and some technical stuff. But it is manageable.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Any more questions?
Please, yes, please come forward with your questions. It would be good if it's related to the GKS.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi. Asha, I wanted to know like which are the good universities for pursuing masters in fine arts, because I have sorted down like Soltech, Hannam and Hongye, but I'm not pretty much sure that like Soltech is like good for fine arts. So if you have any kind of inputs in that area, so please share.
Soltech doesn't have a good world ranking, so better avoid it.
Okay.
So you were asking about fine arts, right?
Yeah, fine arts.
So fine arts, I know there are two good colleges. One is Korea National University of Arts, and second is Dongguk University. So you can check the websites. Yeah.
Korean National University, I guess it's not covered under GKS. It's covered under the KART scholarship, I guess.
The Korean National University of Arts, they have their own internal scholarship.
Yeah,
if you have a great
KART.
portfolio, if you have a great portfolio, apply for it, you'll get it.
Okay. And the second one, what was that?
Dongguk University.
Dongguk.
Yes, it is famous for arts, like fine art.
Dongguk is covered under GKS?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other? Because I have like, I have to put in 3 universities.
Maybe you can take any of the Korea University also. Korea University, they have also arts, good arts. Korea University.
Korea University, yeah.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes. Can we have more questions? Please come forward with your questions.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm having one more doubt. Like there it is given we need to submit our birth certificate in guidelines. But what if someone isn't having his or her birth certificate? Like additionally, they have mentioned passport, but we cannot give passport only.
Yeah, you can.
It is optional,
mentioned
right?
Additionally.
What?
In guidelines, it is given additionally, not optionally.
Just attach your maybe Aadhaar card or passport. I think that would work if you don't have a birth certificate.
I think birth certificate is not like necessity for this application. They only need an
it's
ID
not
proof.
necessity. I need an ID proof. Yeah, I had, so I attached it. So just attach 2 documents for cross verification: passport and your Aadhaar card, election card, whatever, which mentions your date of birth.
I want to add one thing more. I think birth certificate is also valid. She can add her birth certificate.
That's what she's saying. She doesn't have a birth certificate.
I mean, I don't have my birth certificate.
Don't worry about the birth certificate. Actually, you can just submit passport. You won't be rejected if you don't submit your birth certificate. If they need it, they will send you a personal mail. Don't worry about it.
Actually, I also didn't submit the birth certificate, so don't worry. Just apply.
Oh, thank you.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
For proof of citizenship, we can provide Aadhaar card, and for parent citizenship, we can add Aadhaar card. That's all, I think.
Yeah, any government proof.
There is no need of birth certificate for that.
Yes, yes,
no.
Yes, that's true.
Actually, in this year's guidelines, they say the birth certificate is mandatory. And additionally, if you don't have the citizenship is not mentioned on the birth certificate, then you should submit other passport or additional documents.
Any more questions?
Please come forward with your questions. We are here to answer.
There are some questions people are asking me in questions in the box. Can you ask in person so that I can answer you? I can getting texts.
I think one question was related to SOP.
Yeah. The SOP question was in SOP it's just have to for me, like I mentioned one paragraph of my backgrounds, what I did in before, like my bachelor's and my master's. Then I mentioned what I've done apart from bachelor's and master's, like my internship and prepare presentation. Then I moved to Korea, that what motivated me to come to Korea. And then I mentioned what I'm going to research about. And then I mentioned about my particular field that I have the interest to research in. And then you have to focus and you have to be, you don't keep the statement of purpose very lengthy. If you think that you are making a statement of purpose very good in 1200 words, kindly go ahead with only 1200 words. Just don't go to 2000 words just because it says that you have to go to 2000 words. Don't stretch it. Be straight to the point, answer your questions, and do tell them that about why are you only interested in Korea, why not any other universities. Please don't mention that you love K-pop or K-drama, and don't try to put into that because of K-pop, or maybe because I think there's a band called BTS, just because of BTS I got fascinated from Korea. I don't mention that's not very academic. So mention some academic things, like for example, if you are working on something in Korea related field, like Korea is working really good in artificial intelligence, or in the North Korea field, China field. So mention that when I'll be there, my primary resources to study would be very good in Korea only. So you have to make sure believe them that Korea is the best suited field for you now to study, and make sure that you are always straight to point, and finish it by saying that if you are, whatever your research will be done, how it will benefit you and both Korea and the universities. So that's how SOP is written. Be straight to point. That's it. Don't talk about your hobbies and all. They don't care.
I would also like to add on this point, like keep it as professional as possible, and also at the same time be honest about your like achievements and stuff. Don't go overboard saying like you're like super top and stuff. Like just keep it on the limits, and but give your academic motivation, not like the other stuff as mentioned by Abhishek. And also if you're like cross major, like moving from sciences to say management or any other courses, make sure to convince them in your SOP that you have like a genuine motivation of going like to the cross major, and why are you not pursuing your higher education in the same major as you have done your bachelor's or master's.
And also if you include something, how you will be helpful or beneficial for that lab or for that group of people, then I think higher chances of getting accepted. In shortly in some lines you can explain why you are helpful for them or beneficial for them to work under them, what you're going to add to the lab or the research. So
actually, one more thing I would like to add. If you are going to apply through university track, your half of the selection will be based on SOP. So take it as a very serious thing, because in embassy, first you have to give an interview in front of the Indian embassy personnel. But in university, you are directly applying. So your half of the selection will be done by your SOP. So as a very nice thing given, the thing you have to give is why they will take you. That's the question. So if you are smart enough to give this answer, then your half selection will be done. So be like straightforward to the point. Okay.
Can we have more questions, please?
I have a question for Abhishek, sir.
Yes, Abhishek, please go on.
Actually, yeah. Sir, no, not a big deal. Actually, you mentioned you have a few friends who are pursuing MBA. So since I'm going to go for that, so I don't have any research related things that I can put in my SOP. So, and I also do not have any work experience because I'm currently in my third year of college and I'll be applying next year. So I want to know, in that case, what am I supposed to mention out there in my SOP? Because yeah, you're getting my point.
I'm getting your point, but it's very tough to answer that because I'm not from the same field that I can guide you on that particular note.
Yeah, but then you say you had friends, so maybe
Yeah, I have friends, but I never
mentioned in the SOP and stuff.
I do have friends, but I never asked them what they wrote in their SOP. That's none of my business. I was never interested in that. But coming to, I think you have to get in touch with someone who is from finance. And I'm very sorry. I don't think right now I'm particularly eligible enough to answer you. I don't want to misguide you in any front.
Okay.
Because I never asked
any
anyone.
of the speaker, or if any of the speaker can answer, they can go forward maybe.
Okay, so is the Facebook page, can I post queries related to MBA, or it's only for research and PhD stuff? On your Facebook page and LinkedIn page, etc.
It's for everything. You can ask any related, study related questions.
Maybe there'll be some people who can answer.
Yeah, go ahead and post in the group. Maybe after some time, if I ask someone from finance, I'll let you know over there.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Anyone else? No one.
Is there anyone else to ask question? Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to know about the procedure after the screening of the documents for the selection through the university track. Like, is there going to be the interview conducted by the university, or it's going to be the interview is going to be conducted by the NIIED? Like because that clarity regarding the after selection procedure, it's not there, so I couldn't understand that.
See, the interview would be conducted by the embassy, and last year it was conducted via Zoom. Last year it was cancelled. In my year it was cancelled. It was not there, but I think it will be conducted by embassy. And sometimes the university will also call you and ask for an interview, maybe a telephonic interview or maybe a Skype interview. So it depends. Sometimes university also takes your interview. Mine was taken by my university even after I was selected. But yeah, it depends. Sometimes university make their own rules and you cannot do anything in that.
I would like to add.
Sorry, Abhishek, for interrupting you. She is asking about university track.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Think. Yeah.
Yes. It's okay.
It's fine. For university track, after the screening procedure, they will give a mail, the proper mail, in which they will let you know the mode of interview. So everything is done by the university. Nothing is done by embassy or NIED. Okay. So the professor will take your interview, either on Skype, telephone, or whatever he wants.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Now we will not take any further question due to time limit. I would like to request Dr. Vasudeva Reddy to give vote of thanks. He is assistant professor at Yangnam University and core team member of ISRK. So, Mr. Dr. Vasudeva Reddy, please give us your vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to give a vote of thanks on the occasion of the Global Korean Scholarship session in ISRK session. I am very sincerely grateful to all the speakers, Abhishek Kumar and Bulasa Amruta and Deepak Chahur and Deepak Kumar, for sharing their gracious words, like the how to apply for this scholarship and how to approach the professors and also the benefits from the scholarship. At today's meeting, on behalf of our members of the ISRK and the entire management of our group, it has been our tribute to host all the members and audience of this session. I am thankful to all the participants for coming here and attending for the Global Korean Research Scholarship session. We have been fortunate to have a renewed identity from academic and industries and as well as other areas. I am grateful to all of these participants, and I am confident that our ISRK will continue to receive significant provisions from the diverse groups in this future. And thank you to all for their enthusiastic participation and the determination to complete the mission. And finally, I would like to provide one point to every Indian. In India, the original document you can receive only one time, but in South Korea, you can get a document in a couple of times. That's why the Korean government or officials, they thought that you can get original many times. But in India, you won't get original many times. If even university or somebody will ask you the original document, and you can send the color photocopy to the everyone. So otherwise, they won't return that original to you. Be careful. It is not to everyone. Don't send original to anyone until you come here. Once you come here, you can show your originals. You can say that. But during the process, you can say that whatever you have the photocopy, that is original. Okay, here the meaning of original means you should submit what you get recently, the document, and the document has a validity 6 months. For example, you will get the apostille from the Indian government. It should be less than 6 months. If it is more than 6 months, mostly they won't understand why it is late and how many times you can get that document. Okay, please explain properly to them while you are going to submit any document. And kind notice, don't send original to anybody to Korea, and many people are suffering who sent here, they won't get it back again. Okay, if anybody will ask you the original, just show it and keep with you. And thank you everyone for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember, you can always come up with your queries. So to do so, kindly join us on our Facebook page. You can follow our YouTube channel. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Telegram. So kindly, guys, go and follow, and we are always there to help you. Thank you so much for the session.
Good luck to everyone.
Yes, all the best for your future endeavors. Please feel free to go to our page and question us. You can always see this. You can always see this session on the YouTube also. We are going to upload soon. And all the best for your future.
Thank you all.
Can you
Thank you all.
share your Telegram somewhere?
Yes, we will share everything on the Facebook.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, please follow us. Thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you.